Problem, though, Wally, they didn't shoot well out of the gate. 24% shooting in the first quarter, and that allowed Detroit to go on a 17-4 run at the end of the first quarter, and the Knicks never led after that.
Yeah, it's a little alarming, too. The Knicks won against Memphis shooting 37, 38%. But tonight they shot 39%. So they got to get their field goal percentage up a little bit. They had no answer for Blake Griffin, tried multiple defenders on him. But he's gotten so much smarter in his older age. Doesn't have to rely on his athleticism, really uses his body and positioning very well. Stanley Johnson was big. You know, you look at their perimeter and no one really scares you. But Stanley Johnson was a high draft pick. He's starting to really come into, you know, what he's meant to be in this league. He's a strong guy. He took the challenge against Trier, really went at him. That's two Arizona guys that, you know, have some history together. I'm sure they played some ball in the summers against each other, you know, back in the desert there in Arizona. But, you know, that's a good team, well-coached team. And Dwayne Casey, he's going to have his guys ready. He's going to have his guys play hard. And the Knicks are opening some eyes with that 3-game winning streak. So they're going to have a little bit of a bullseye on their chest where it's not just, you know, the Knicks walking in, we're going to get a win. You got to play and earn the win against the Knicks, and tonight Detroit did that.
All right, so that 17-4 run for the Pistons at the end of the quarter put the Pistons up, and they never trailed the rest of the game. Now, Damian Dotson, you touched on him, Alan. The last 4 games doesn't get in at all. Out of the rotation, gets his run here tonight, and in 23 minutes he scores 17 points.
You know, it's something we heard David Fizdale talk about in the pregame show when he was actually talking about Emmanuel Mudiay, and he said it's the work finally kicking in. And I think Damian Dotson's a guy that you see keeps doing the work, regardless of the playing time. So when it was time for him to play, he was ready. He came in shooting. That's good. Look, 3 for 3 from a team that couldn't make any shots, 6 of 8 and the 17, and he shot with confidence. He played with physicality. His defense has always been something that you like from him, so he was able to play on that end of the floor. But this is where it mattered most, because the reason why he fell out of the rotation and out of the starting lineup was because he stopped making these shots. He went into a funk where he wasn't knocking down a lot of those shots we were used to seeing him make. He's a good shooter. He was a very good shooter in college, and that's something he prides himself on. But you got to love when a guy sits for a couple of games and he steps in and he's ready to play. It shows you he kept putting in the work.
It's not easy to do, and you also got to give the player development coaches credit for keeping guys ready.
Spend time with him.
We saw it with Trey Burke. When Trey Burke was out of the rotation for a little bit, he got his shot, he got his opportunity. Look at the way he played. He had 3 games where he was up around 30 points per game, and when he got into the game, when the Knicks needed him, he really produced. Same thing with Damian Dotson. Now he's got to just carry this over, and I'm sure he's going to get more minutes because you can't keep him on the bench with the way he played tonight. So he's got to keep this play going. It'll really help the Knicks.
So Dotson 17. But the player in our DraftKings player spotlight is Alonzo Trier, and he played a lot tonight at the point. Off nights for Emmanuel Mudiay, an off night for Trey Burke, but Trier, 24 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Play one-day fantasy basketball at DraftKings.com, the official one-day fantasy partner of the New York Knicks. 49 fantasy points.
Fantasy gold, boy, and he got to the free throw line 12 times. 9 for 12 from the line. I'll tell you, he's showing he can play a little bit of point guard, too.
Strong.
Strong, powerful, good size, you know, smart. No fear Trier is a perfect nickname for him because he just comes in undrafted, you know, on a 2-way contract, and he gets in an NBA basketball games, and he goes to dominate. He just goes to take over, and he's playing big minutes in the 4th quarter. He's been phenomenal.
Can he be the point guard?
At times.
At times, yeah. Full time, I don't think it's best for him because he's such a good scorer. But there are times I think, and I remember way back, there were times that John Starks was moved to point and played point back in the day, but he was best as a scorer when he can just attack. Now, 7 assists, a good look for Trier, and I think maybe you put him there to help him play within the flow, to get other people involved. But only 3 turnovers, and the other part I think that he got some education today in defending a point guard like an Ish Smith, a faster guard, using a lot of screens. That's also part of his learning process. We know he can score. He came into this league knowing he could score. It's that other end that he has to learn, and he did get some education there because Ish Smith took it to him around those screens a lot.